grinding hard. It's hot, it's summer, and just thank you for what you guys do. Thank you for joining. My name is Chad Towner. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. It's been about a year since we've had our last national sales call. And if you have been paying attention, you know that solar has been going through quite the wild ride recently. And we wanted to give you guys as many updates and insight as we possibly can to what's been going on. And most importantly, what's coming in the near future. So thank you for joining. We want you guys to submit questions. We want you to ask questions, but we will not be answering them on this call today. There's a ton of people already in the call. We would never be able to get to them. And so feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A. We will take those questions, get the answers figured out, and submit a document out to you guys within the next couple of days. So by all means, ask the questions. We'll get to them when we can. You'll be hearing from myself. You'll be hearing from Kylie Powell, Will Fortenberry, Mark Lennox, Zach Bloom, and Rob Richardson. When they are all done, I'm going to get back on and I'm going to provide a bunch of updates. We've been hard at work. We've got a lot of exciting things to update you on. And then when I'm finished, we will have Brett Bouchy on. He will give you guys his insights, some of the things that he's been seeing, some of the things he's excited about, and what is going on in the industry. So stay tuned, pay attention, lock in. Let's get started. All right, so first things first, the one big, beautiful bill. I think everybody knows at this point it was signed on Friday, July 4th by President Trump. It was going back and forth between the House and the Senate. They made adjustments to the Inflation Reduction Act that was signed by President Biden in 2022. Here are the changes that affect our solar industry. So Section 25D, you may have heard of this before. That is the 30% tax credit that is given to a homeowner if they purchase solar, either with cash or if they get a loan. Previously, that was going to go all the way until 2032. Now it expires on December 31st, 2025, this year. Second, Section 45Y, which is a clean energy production credit. This is for manufacturers. That was also going to go until 2032, and now it expires on December 31st of 2027. So we got about 2.5 years for that credit. And the one that you've probably heard the most about is Section 48E. These are tax credits for low income or energy communities or domestic content. Domestic content, if panels or enough of the solar facility is manufactured in the United States, it is eligible for domestic content. That was also supposed to go until 2032. It has now been changed and it expires on December 31st of 2027. There is potentially an opportunity for what's called safe harboring, where finance companies can buy the modules ahead of time and still be eligible for the tax credits until 2030. But if anybody was paying attention yesterday, President Trump sent out and signed an executive order that could be changing the way safe harboring is done. And so hopefully we'll have more to come on that. Brett's going to speak a little bit about it, but that is the big, beautiful bill. All things considered, we thought that they were going to kill everything immediately a couple weeks ago. Now I would say, I don't think we're happy, but at least I would say we're relieved that we have a little bit of a runway to wean ourselves off of these subsidies. And that is the big, beautiful bill. Now I'm going to pass it over to Kylie Powell, the president of sales.
All right, thanks, Chad. Good morning to most and afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I just wanted to take a moment to express some heartfelt gratitude to all of our incredible sales reps and dedicated partner dealers out there. Honestly, nothing I can say or do can adequately thank you for the work that you continue to do day in and day out, but I hope you understand that it is that work that is pushing this mission forward. So thank you. And because of these efforts, we sold over 65 megawatts in June. That's a massive number, but it's not just the number. That's thousands of homes and lives that have been impacted. And again, none of this happens without each and every one of you. So make no doubt about it, we are doing this together and we are doing it from the very best place to be in this industry. And that's right here at Freedom Forever. This isn't just a company, it's a movement. And it's a home for those who believe in doing things the right way and for the right reasons and with the right people. So right now is the time to build on our current momentum. And we've heard your feedback, and we've been working on updates, building better systems and processes to help you sell more and get those sold projects to PTO as quickly as possible. So now I'm going to pass the time over to Will Fortenberry, our Vice President of HQ Operations, to go over some of those updates. Will?
Thanks, Kylie. Those are some impressive sales numbers from last month. HQ Ops, our job is to pick up the ball after the point of sale. And so here are a few highlights that you'd mentioned of some things we've been hard at work on the last couple of months. Selling solar is really, pretty difficult job for you all. So, there's enough hoops that exist. Our job is to try to eliminate as many of those steps in the process as possible. And the first one that we did a few months back was an improvement to our HOA process. Since then, we've seen about a 60% reduction in those timelines and have gotten really good feedback from the sales teams as well as homeowners. The second one, which is pretty exciting to share, is with the Tesla backup switch for certain utilities where it's accepted, we've seen a 20% reduction in NPU callouts. So this isn't just saving you thousands of dollars on the project, but also oftentimes months in the timeline to install. And last but not least, we've been geeking out over something that's usually not very exciting, which is databases. But because of this effort, we've seen over now 90% first-time permit approvals nationwide, which is something we haven't seen before in the past. And now we're also using Eagle View on every single design. So designers have the best image to hopefully reduce the day of install changes. Next up, we're going to turn over to Mark Lennox, our Senior Product Education Manager, and let you know what his team's been up to.
Thanks, Will. And we are excited to share with you what we have going on in the training department. The first thing we do want to point out in the training department is the email address that you can use to schedule trainings for your individual teams with us, and that is producteducation@freedomforever.com. We also have a training calendar that we're going to be releasing that will streamline the process here soon that we will email to all of our reps. You can access the Sales Resource Center now by clicking the light bulb button in Volt to access Intercom and search for documents directly. And as we'll talk about plenty of times in this presentation, get to know Raya. You can save time by texting Raya a question. And a lot of the resources that it will access are in the SRC, not only in Intercom, but in the Sales Resource Center inside of Lightspeed. Ask Raya to send you a link and she can give you the answer and give you a direct link to that. So as we continue to grow and new products come to market, make sure you're using our training calendar and the links provided so that we can get you the training you need to keep moving forward. Now I'm going to kick it over to Zach Bloom, our Chief Technology Officer. Take it away, Zach.
Appreciate the handoff, Mark. Before I jump in, I just want to say thanks to all of you grinding every day, making solar happen for families across the country. Everything we're building on the software side is to back you up, make your lives easier, and help you close more deals faster. Thank you for the work you do. It does not go unnoticed. We've been building Lightspeed for 7 years now, and it has evolved. It's not just the best solar pipeline management tool for HQ and branch operations, but now we have Volt, our sales app, and Impact, our field app. These three tools really round out our entire ecosystem. What has been extremely exciting has been what we have been able to accomplish since we went all in on our software team. Since October of last year, we've brought on 21 new team members to our software department. These are top tier senior engineers, engineering managers, and product leaders. And what they've built is transforming the way we sell, fulfill, and scale solar. This isn't just better tech anymore. This is Freedom building a software ecosystem that removes friction, speeds up installs, and earns trust with every click. Here are just some of the things on the screen that we've accomplished in the last couple quarters that separate Freedom from the pack. We've integrated with our finance company processes around approvals and rejections. We've automated PTO approval rejections. We've shrank our rework ticket timelines by 70%. We've automated 80% of our adders. We're identifying and fixing issues at point of sale. We've automated commissions. We're working on eliminating the final audit step. We have onboarding in Volt, and we have the commissions pipeline in Volt. These are just some of the things that allow us to expand our business while keeping our costs and our timelines down. Our system is very large and continuing to grow at a rapid pace. We're able to do this by going all in on AI. This is our accelerator. Not only are we leveraging AI within our new products, but we have embraced it within our software development process. Our developers are utilizing AI to write better code faster. This has multiplied our workforce and our output. What used to take weeks to develop is now taking days. Going into impact, our field app, Freedom Forever is not just the largest installation company, we are a platform. And that means you're not just selling panels, you're selling speed, trust, and a company built to scale with you. Our field app, Impact, was released nationwide earlier this year and has been a wild success. We needed a home base for our field workers to view their schedules with better job details on site, clocking into jobs correctly, and managing their time cards. Now that our teams in the field are getting used to using the app every day, we want this to be the place where our field teams understand the requirements of the projects by you, the sales rep, the utility company, the AHJ, the finance company, all the above, and make sure they document the correct photos. This step is pivotal to avoiding extra truck rolls and staying within SLA and avoiding clawbacks. We also want to host competitions and leaderboard for our field teams to incentivize speed and quality. We continue to push the envelope by disrupting the industry through software. Freedom is the only installer on the market with their own proprietary field app. Thanks for the time. I'm going to hand it off to our VP of Product, Rob Richardson, to go over some exciting new developments.
Hey everyone, I'm Rob, leading product here at Freedom Forever. Thanks for joining me today. You know, we've always believed that the future of solar is intelligent. And over the past year, we've been proving that theory in ways that honestly surprised even us. Last year, we dipped our toes into AI, running some experiments, testing the waters. This year, we're diving headfirst, and the results have been incredible. Our development teams are now shipping projects in days, not weeks, thanks to our internal adoption of AI as a core tool. We're talking about 40 to 50% faster development cycles across the board. That's not just efficiency, that's transformation. But today, I'm not here to talk about our internal processes. I'm here to introduce you to something that's going to change how you work every single day. Meet Raya, your new AI assistant who knows everything about your projects. Think about this for a second. You're driving between appointments, and you need to know if the Henderson project got its final inspection approval. Instead of making 3 phone calls and waiting for callbacks, you just call Raya or text her. Hey Raya, what's the status on Henderson? Boom, instant answer. Need commission details for last month's installs? Raya's got it. Want to check on that ticket you submitted about the inverter issue? She's already tracking it. This isn't some chatbot that gives you generic responses. Raya actually understands your specific projects, your customers, your territory. But here's where it gets really exciting. What you're seeing today is just the beginning. Soon, Raya will be scheduling your field visits based on your calendar and travel optimization. She'll create tickets when issues come up and automatically update customer information as projects progress. All through simple conversation, no more logging into multiple systems or filling out forms. We're not just building software here. We're building your competitive advantage. While other companies are still dealing with manual processes and administrative overhead, you're going to be freed up to do what you do best: sell and serve customers. Behind the scenes, AI is revolutionizing how we handle the entire project lifecycle. Smart validations catch potential issues before they become costly rework. Automated document verification speeds up approvals by eliminating back and forth with permit offices. And we're just getting started. AI is now learning to handle permit submissions and interconnection applications automatically. Think about that. What used to take our internal teams hours of paperwork and follow-up now happens in minutes, which means faster project turnaround times and happier customers for you. This is just day one for AI at Freedom Forever. We're rolling out new capabilities every month, and honestly, we can't wait to see what you'll accomplish with Raya by your side. The solar industry is competitive, but with tools like this, you're not just keeping up, you're setting the pace. Now let's hear Raya in action before we hand it back to Chad.
Hi there, Brett. Raya here, Freedom Forever's AI project specialist. Quick heads up, we're recording this call. So what can I help you with today?
Yeah, I want to see why project went from a $24,304 SOW at 1.3 and then changed to $16,104.
Got it. Let me pull up project for you now. Okay, looking at project, the change from $24,304 SOW at 1.3 to $16,104 is due to a change order related to switching the battery operating mode to self-consumption. This change made the originally sold solar rate unavailable, lowering the solar rate from 29 cents to 20.5 cents per unit, which reduced the overall price. There was also a request to do a grid-tied solar edge battery, not a backup, and an effort to avoid MPU, but MPU was deemed unavoidable due to panel limitations. The SOW will be updated once the rework is completed. Does that explanation match what you were expecting? Need any more details on this?
Yeah, can you text me that explanation?
All right, I've sent that explanation to your phone. Anything else you want me to check or help with?
Boom. That is amazing. I am so excited about what we're doing with AI. Raya is absolutely crushing it. She's getting smarter and better every single day. If you guys haven't utilized this amazing service, take advantage of it. There's more to come. It's only going to get better. Part of me thinks that Rob may have used an AI voice bot for his portion of the call, but I guess we'll never know. It was that good. All right, I told you guys we have more updates. Let's get into it. We have been hard at work on our side of the business to create partnerships, to create opportunities for all of you guys to be able to continue to grow and build not only your business, but your networks and your relationships, and to continue to climb and hit your goals. So we recently have struck a deal with D.R. Horton. They are the largest home builder in the United States. And we are going to be doing installs for them in several locations across the US. We're very, very excited about that partnership. We also have struck a deal with Beazer. They're a top 10 largest installer in the United States. And we're going to be doing installs for them nationally as well. There's more to come with this new channel. And there's ways that we want our sales teams to participate in this. So more to come on that. Next, if you've been here long enough, you know that Freedom used to have a partnership with Vivint on the smart home side. We are very excited. We recently signed a new agreement. We now have a relationship for Vivint to send us leads and appointments from customers that want solar. So we are going to be dispatching those leads to our sales teams the same way we do our normal leads from our internal system. So be on the lookout for those leads. Very, very excited about this new relationship with Vivint. And I believe we're going to be closing those leads at a very, very high rate. Next, I know on the call last year, I mentioned our partnership with Home Depot, but it was actually through Sonova, if you remember. Sonova had the partnership with Home Depot, and we partnered with Sonova. And as I think everybody knows, Sonova filed bankruptcy in June. And so we now have recently struck a deal with Home Depot directly. I signed that deal a couple weeks ago. We are going to be staffing, and we're already doing this, staffing stores in Home Depot with appointment setters and dispatching those appointments out to the field, to our sales leaders and sales reps and closers. So those are going to be coming your way as well. We're very, very excited. I've always been enamored with retail because retail is strongest in the winter. And I've knocked doors for 9 summers. I know how hard it is to generate sales in the winter. And so this will hopefully complement your pipeline and keep your pipeline full year round. Next, if you remember a year ago, we announced a new partnership with the LA Rams. That has been a huge success. The Rams have been amazing to us. We not only have an amazing suite in SoFi Stadium, but we also did a sponsorship deal with the Rams. I'm proud to announce that we now have new suite partnerships with the Boston Celtics, the Boston Bruins, both of those are in the TD Garden, as well as the Vegas Knights, which is where our headquarters are. So we're excited to offer these to our sales leaders for recruiting. This is a great way for you to bring in more sales recruits that you want to grow your business and grow your network. So get with your leadership and see how you can get them to one of these games. All right. I know we've covered a lot of ground. We have been hard at work going over a lot of things. And I know it's been rough. I know that the solar industry it feels like we've been in this storm. And, I just want to tell everybody how much I appreciate their dedication, their commitment to the mission. And the more we can just stay focused on the things that are within our control, because there's a lot that is outside of our control, especially on the political side, the legislation side. We can't control those things. If we can just stay focused on the things that are within our control, I do believe we will achieve the mission that Freedom has, which is accelerate the rate of residential solar adoption. And there is nobody that can compete with us when we focus on that mission. We are the best positioned to do it. And we are following, in my opinion, the best sales and solar and business leader in the industry. His name is Brett Bouchy. I'm going to pass it over to him for a couple of updates. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for all you do. Brett, the time is yours.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. I want to start off and to use like Chad's storm analogy. I feel like the last 6 weeks, it's been a combination of a hurricane or tornado and an earthquake all wrapped up into a 6-week period. There is no doubt that the last 6 weeks have been the most turbulent 6 weeks in the residential solar history all time. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've never seen anything like it. And, but it was exciting on July 4th to have a semblance of certainty when President Trump signed the, big, beautiful bill. All right. I know Chad touched on it a little bit, but I'm going to go into some specifics and to give you updates. All right. Even though as a company, Freedom does 85% of our volume is TPO. That is a combination of leases as well as PPAs. But people don't realize this a lot of times. Everybody that works in door-to-door do not understand how big of an impact that cash and loan has had within our industry. Still, in 2024, 50% of residential solar volume was cash and loan. That was mostly done by small to medium-sized installers, and they are going to be devastated by the impact of 25D going away. And even though it may make a rush and create some urgency over the next few months, they don't really have a good transition plan to go over to TPO. And you would be surprised of how many small installers only do cash and loan for a variety of different reasons. TPO is a complete different level of complexity from an operational standpoint. And the fact that our market is going to go probably to 97% TPO gives a company like Freedom that is already really good at doing TPOs a huge advantage. But, I want to be cognizant of, some people are out there like celebrating what has happened with the IRA, and we should not do that. Even though the outcome was better than what we thought, it still is very, very painful for our industry compared to what we had with the Inflation Reduction Act. The other thing I want to talk about is the executive order that was issued yesterday by President Trump. And if you just read the title of it, it's obviously very scary. And while the big, beautiful bill creates a level of certainty, first of all, I just want to make it clear. A bill that is passed becomes law, and it cannot be changed by an executive order. But there are rules around how you safe harbor and how rules are around foreign entities that can affect your ability to safe harbor and can affect the ability to extend the life of the tax credits. That is still uncertain. What we do know is for sure we are going to be able to have the tax credits through 2027. Now, there are some foreign entity concerns. That's all going to be fleshed out in the next 45 days with the Treasury Department. We crave certainty, especially a company like us, to be able to operate and to run a business as a CEO you need certainty of what's going to happen. And as human beings, we need certainty and we need stability. And while we have that, we're still going to see some issues that come out of Treasury that we're going to be closely following, and we're going to keep you guys updated over the next 45 days. So, but I also wanted to kind of go back and explain to everybody what happened over the last 6 weeks. The capital markets became paralyzed. And a lot of people, I've had this conversation. Some of you guys know this, some of you guys don't know this. So if you heard this from me again, I apologize for rehashing it. But finance companies are middlemen. They're very similar to mortgages. If you go and you get a mortgage from a mortgage company, when you actually go to pay the mortgage, you're usually paying somebody else. All right. So mortgages are sold in the form of asset-backed securities or securitizations. And there is a group of private equity and investors that buy that. There are companies like Blackstone, BlackRock, Apollo. Those are the companies that buy all of the residential solar assets, very similar to mortgages. All right. As soon as the bill came out of the House and Ways Committee about 6 or 7 weeks ago in the House, that essentially paralyzed the capital markets. So at that point, every finance company knows they're not going to be able to sell any of their assets. And essentially, there's a limited runway. So in that runway analogy, you know the runway ends, and you know that at some point you've got to take off before that ends. And for the first time in Freedom's history, our greatest strength is our operations, our volume. That actually became a negative. That became a liability for the last 6 to 7 weeks because we do so much volume. And we saw that. And every finance company was concerned that ultimately they would run out of money before the capital markets were unlocked again. And so we saw that. And because of that, we were very, very conservative from an operational cash flow standpoint. And it's great to see now with the certainty, you're already starting to see it change and go back to normal. Now, there may be a new normal, but anything better than the last 6 weeks is going to be incredible. And that's essentially like where we are. And now that we have certainty, the weakness that we had over the last 6 to 7 weeks is now turned into the opposite. Because what is going to happen is we are right now going through the greatest safe harbor opportunity in the history of residential solar. Right now, over the weekend, last weekend, they are negotiating, the finance companies with equipment providers, safe harboring projects. We're already being approached by the finance companies because now they have to figure out a way to liquidate all of this equipment that they are acquiring. And they are doing it fast because even though the executive order came out yesterday, there was a lot of rumors that something like this would happen. So that puts us in an incredible position. Like our weakness is now our number one strength again. And no one is better positioned than Freedom. And a lot of people ask questions about like, will M1s come back? Will EPCs come back? What I can tell you is the answer is I don't know. But what I will tell you is now it's going to become competitive. People want more volume. And because we're so well positioned with all of the major finance companies and we're everyone's largest customer, I do think you're going to see unit economics improve from here. All right. But I don't know what that means. We're going to be seeing that over the next 30, 60 days. But right now, all right, everybody covets volume again. And literally it changed overnight. On Monday, everyone covets volume. Last Wednesday, no one wanted more volume. That's how things can turn. And we are in a great position. I want to start by talking just with some quick updates. Number one, like Sonova. Sonova is in our rear view mirror. and we're actually liquidating our Sonova assets that we weren't getting paid on. We're going to take a haircut of 20 to 30% on those assets, but it wasn't a major amount. So it's great to have that in our full rear view mirror. We're still working with Mosaic. And because of the big, beautiful bill, there is a lot of people vying for the Mosaic assets. I believe Mosaic will come out of the bankruptcy within the next 8 weeks. I think they will come out of it and they will have some unique products. I believe Pivot will be back in play, but it will largely depend on who the buyer is. And right now, there is more than 8 companies looking at buying Mosaic. Now, that doesn't mean I'll have updates on what's going to happen on Mosaic projects that have been sold and maybe failed credit with another finance company. We will continue to communicate and give you updates over the next few weeks with them. We are constantly in contact and have a great relationship with Patrick Moore, who is still the CEO, John Baumgartner, who is still their chief revenue officer, and we're meeting with their chief restructuring officer and even a lot of the warehouse lenders. So I'll give you more updates on that. Another thing is Enfin leases are back. They're going to be back very, very soon. I do not have a specific date, but I expect it to be over the next few days, not the next few weeks. Now, the other thing that we have done is I want to be crystal clear, all right? Everything that you see that is being done by our government right now is like tax credits will go away at some point. We have to figure out a way to be economically viable without the tax credits. And the time is not to be thinking about it in 27 when they're about to go away or 2030 when they may go away with safe harboring. The time to think about it is now. We've accelerated so much of our AI to be able to be more efficient. And the reality is the more AI that we have, the less humans we need to have. That enables us to reduce our costs. And nothing has changed at Freedom. The mission is to accelerate the rate of residential solar adoption in the United States. Because of our economies of scale, because of the challenges that this is going to create with the small to medium-sized installers, like we have never been better positioned to consolidate the industry. And even though for 7 weeks we had a short-term weakness that I don't think anybody saw coming, including ourselves, now it's back to be our biggest strength. Now it's time to consolidate and go out and grow. You're also going to see things like when we were conservative with our cash, we reduced our inventory levels. You are going to see increased inventory levels over the next few weeks and few months as cash flow improves because the finance companies are literally, somewhat back to normal. So it's very, very exciting to be in this position. And I want to just finish and just say, thank you guys. To see what you guys have done with this adversity has been mind-boggling. I just feel so blessed to be a part and to be partners with every one of our sales partners on these calls. You find your true character in times of adversity. And I feel like we've done that. And we have become better over the last 6 or 7 weeks. For example, Raya, all right, or Raya, depending on how you pronounce it, that would have been rolled out eventually, but we accelerated that. That would not have happened this quick if it wasn't for what happened and the turbulence that was created. And we need to become better and we need to become more efficient. We need to figure out a way to get our costs down by another 20, 30, 40, 50 cents. We have to figure out a way to operate without those tax credits. And we are going to be looking at every aspect of our business. But I want to be clear, no one has AI the way that we're using it. Everyone is using AI, but they're using it in inefficient ways. We are so well positioned because of our software. No one is even close to us. The other thing, we have a huge advantage being diversified on the TPO side. So you like compete with other people out there that may be at one company that has to sell one specific TPO. And if they change their pricing, then that is detrimental. You are stuck with that pricing. Like, the diversified approach that we have gives us a huge advantage over everyone else. Also, when you look at our pricing, we always have the best EPCs. I think that will continue, and we will separate and have even a larger differential between our competitors going forward, because now everybody's back to coveting our volume. They also are back to coveting, they don't want to have compliance issues. We are known for having less compliance issues as a percentage of our sold projects. And we also are known for having lower default rates because we sell lower to the customer. So that's so important that we just continue to hammer the things that we've done for 10 years that have made us so successful. But tomorrow's, like, the evolution of residential solar is going to look different in 26 than it did in 25. And that's okay. We are best positioned to pivot over everyone else. And I couldn't be any more excited, but it starts with you guys. You guys have been amazing. You guys have been the rock. Most of you guys know, I'm a Christian, and like, when I think of our sales force, I think of like the Apostle Peter, who is known as the rock. That's what you guys are. Everybody else is like moving around. I've never seen it more transient in the sales partner world than today, but not at Freedom. That is because of you guys, and you guys believe in the mission, and you believe long-term you're in the right place. And I'm so thankful for your leadership and your faith and your commitment to Freedom. Thank you so much.